I've made refinements to all farming spots compared to my previous guide for crystallization catalysts. Timestamps in the description. Let's look at the crystallization catalyst blueprints first. Patch 1.0.4 reduced reactor cooldowns from 5 minutes to 1 minute. We're using this to our advantage, but we're map hopping to farm 36 patterns per hour. This method does require void shards, so you'll also want to have Blair, Freya and Viessa. Since you need these characters anyway to farm void shards for most endgame patterns, work on these if you haven't got them already. Our method of acquiring the blueprints is going to be via 3 patterns. Notably, these are from normal mode reactors. There are 3 reactors to talk about. Vespers, the lumberyard, is the one that we always want to farm for pattern 13, but then you might want to switch up between Echo Swamp, Derelict Covert for pattern 21, and Agna Desert, the storage, for pattern 27. One full rotation between these 2 locations takes about 80 seconds, meaning we'll net about 90 clears per hour, 45 for each outpost. Each location has a 20% chance to drop a pattern, rolled twice. Think of this as being 180 individual rolls for a 20% drop. We'll average 36 drops per hour. Each pattern then has a 15% drop chance for a blueprint, which means we should average 5.4 from those 36 patterns. The void boss for Vespers, the lumberyard, is the quickest kill and also has the most convenient void shards to gather per opening, 11 Polymer and 4 Monomer. It's also a great spot, so we'll always chop and change between the other 2 locations with this one. The reactor in Echo Swamp Derelict Covert is quick to clear, but the void boss requires 13 inorganic and 2 organic void shards. If you have 0 inorganic shards, they can be a pain to gather. Freya can get about 1000 per hour with optimized farming in White Knight Gulch, but it isn't really fun and can feel really inefficient. If you did a lot of Bunny Cave AFKing, you'll have a large cache of inorganics that you can tap into. I'm sitting on enough for around 300 patterns, which is enough for 45 blueprints. Alternatively, you can switch up with Agna Desert, the storage. This clear has an immunity phase, but it doesn't add too much time to your total clears. The benefit is that the void boss requires 11 organic and 4 polymer. I much prefer gathering organic and polymer shards with Blair and Viessa respectively. For polymer void shards, take Viessa to Fortress, Frozen Valley. Get your clears to 10 seconds with overlapped ultimates and maximum cooldown. You'll gather over 2000 polymer and 500 organic shards per hour with this method. For organic and monomer void shards, take Blair to Hagios, Dune Base. Blair's getting patched real soon, so it's a good time to farm some levels and chuck some catalysts on him. You can also solo this fragment easily once you get your build going, but with a semi-decent group, 2000 organics and 600 monomers per hour is possible. For inorganic void shards, if you farmed Bunny Cave, you should have a bunch to utilize. If not, Freya in White Knight Gulch Shipment is the best of a bad deal. The fragment drops 20 inorganics per run, but getting over 1000 per hour isn't trivial. That said, Freya is getting buffed next patch, so with any level of improvement to her area of effect damage, this shouldn't be anywhere near as painful as it currently is. When it is time to kill the void bosses, be efficient. Open patterns during the summoning time to skip the drop display. Time is money. I was able to open 10 patterns in 4 to 6 minutes depending on the boss. For Macromolecule Biogel, since we're clearing Echo Swamp Derelict Covert, we'll net around 13 per hour. You ought to be able to farm more than enough when going for the blueprint so that you'll never need to think about this material again. If you just need Biogel and nothing else, you can switch between Muskag Swamp and Derelict Covert repeatedly to gather a huge quantity in a short period of time. For advanced neural circuits, we're going to be teaming up since it's vastly more efficient. Head to White Knight Gulch Shipment Base and head over to the Fortress Courtyard mission. One person is going to reset the mission, the other is going to kill the elite that spawns in around 10 seconds after you begin. As soon as the elite is dead, abort the mission and repeat. If you're on resetting, listen for the ping noise of the advanced neural circuit dropping, and then immediately hit spacebar on the abort confirmation. Any character can do the killing, but Viessa was best for me. It allows for me to also bring up the abort menu option and shave off a few seconds while I see the boss die to my damage over time in the translucent background. It also has 0 ammo issues, since we just use mana for clearing. You can farm around 700 advanced neural circuits in an hour with this method. That's enough for 39 crafts. For mixed energy residue, take Enzo to Agna Desert and Mirage Stone. There are only a few spawn locations for the encrypted vaults in this region, and they're all relatively close to the portal. Spawn in, press tab. If it's not in the spawn directly ahead of you, it's down and behind you. For Murky energy residue, we're going to run normal mode The Forgottens. Run to this elite, leave, and repeat. Bunny is highly recommended. I'd even think about putting on electric condense for more movement speed if I was being really sweaty. You'll drop around 13 on average, and you only need 8 per craft. And that's it, infinite crystallization catalysts. I've done a lot of research putting this list together, and I'm pretty sure it's the optimal method for every single drop. If you know of a better method, let me know in the comments below. Thanks, and remember to subscribe for more TFD content.